nice and early, almost quarter south. We get out of here, obviously. I won't list all the senior players out injured because we'll be here till kick-off. But is anyone likely to be able to play a part tomorrow?
Yeah, as you mentioned, we have a few still in contention. We need to give them 24 more hours and to give them a chance to be involved in the game, but we won't know anything till tomorrow.
Is there anyone definitely not going to be available? I know, not the long-term one.
Timber is for sure not. Thomas Partey is for sure out, and probably Emil is out, and there might be a few more.
Can I ask you about Saka specifically, though? Because last time he was called up for England, went and was sent back. Is something similar likely to happen this time?
Hopefully no. We want our players to play for the club and play for the national teams. And B had to leave the pitch because he was in quite a lot of pain. He didn't train yesterday, and let's see if he can make it tomorrow.
And Eddie not selected this time. Was that because of injury?
Well, I don't know. I don't know the real reason. That's a question for Gareth. I know how important for him it is to be in the national team, how much he enjoyed the last few experiences, and that's a decision that is not in my hands.
And with Thomas, you mentioned him there. He's had this procedure. Apparently, that's not really going to affect the amount of time that he's out. Is that right?
No, hopefully not. And he's progressing really well. But yeah, it was a significant injury. And I said that hopefully it's going to be weeks and not months. And he's working towards that. And he needs support. And hopefully the injury will heal in the right way. And we'll have him back because he's a big player for us.
And then if he is back on schedule, this will then, I guess, go off for the African Cup of Nations. So he could be without him for most of the season.
Well, that's part number 2. Let's get him fit and healthy as quick as possible, and playing a big part in the team, which I think that he can do.
Aaron's in the England squad, but Gareth Southgate, has he spoken to him about it would be difficult selecting him for the Euros if he's not playing regularly in 6 months' time? Has he spoken to you about any concerns?
No, I haven't spoken to him about that topic, no.
Have you heard of the independent key match incident panel?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've decided in their wisdom, 3 former either players or coaches, a referee and a Premier League person, that Newcastle goal, that goal was a valid goal. Your reaction?
I think we had a lot of reactions after that match. It's time to move forward, to focus on Burnley and talk about tomorrow's game.
Would you like to know who these people are?
Sorry?
Would you like to know who these people are who made the decision?
I think at some point we will know, so yeah.
When you're not working day in, day out again in the future, would you like to join this panel?
It's a possibility. Everything is a possibility in this life.
And just Vincent Kompany, who you know very well, obviously you're facing Burnley, which is what we're here to talk about after all, tomorrow. 3 years together, I think, as coach and captain. How's he doing at Burnley, and how surprised, if surprised, are you that he came up?
Not surprised at all. I think he was already a coach when he played. He was a leader. He was someone very intelligent that could navigate in very different scenarios really well. In dressing room, above, he understood the game really well, spoke several languages, and you could tell straight away that he was going to be a top coach, and obviously he's had a very strong career already. What they did last year, it was incredible, especially the way they did it. And then, yeah, in this Premier League, we all have difficulties, we all have good moments, and I'm really happy to see doing what he's doing.
We'll go to Jake from the Premier League.
Hi.
Are you surprised at how tough maybe they have found it this season, Burnley?
Well, I think looking back at the games that they played and the results that they got, in some of them they merit much more than what they got. I don't think that reflects actually what they deserved in games. But this is the difficulty of this league, that when you deserve more, sometimes you don't get it because the quality of the opposition it's so high. But the way they have transformed and the way of playing the club and how they continue to play with the belief that they do, for me, is remarkable.
Obviously, you were the assistant and he was still playing at Manchester City, but did you ever, the two of you, discuss being managers later on?
Yeah, we did discuss it. He was doing his badges. I was there already, and he was very connected to the coaching staff, very connected to the team, and we had a lot of talks about football, and you could tell straight away that he was going to be a coach very soon.
Do you see any perhaps similarities in the style of football that you both tried to play?
Well, I think we have a lot of similarities in what we want to happen in games. I think their approach and the way we do it probably different. Hopefully it is different. But I really like what he does.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Go to Bradley from talkSPORT.
Hi Mikel, hope you're well. Just the last one on VAR. The CEO of IFAB joined talkSPORT this week, and he said it could take excuse me, up to 10 years for VAR to iron out all of the imperfections around it. I wondered what your reaction was to that, and whether football can wait 10 years for all those imperfections to be ironed out.
I don't know. I would probably be bold in 10 years. Life would be very different. Maybe we have many other new rules in football. So I don't know. Let's try to do everything that we can, individual and collectively, to improve the game in every aspect, and that's it.
And you must be pleased that after beating Sevilla, you've pretty much all but secured qualification into the last 16 of the Champions League.
I'm very pleased with the performance, the way we won the game, and how much we restricted the opponent to have a chance to get anything from the game. But there is still a lot to play for. The group is really tight, and we still have to do a lot to be where we want to be.
And considering the injuries you've got up front at the minute, it must be handy for you to have someone of, you know, the flexibility of Leandro Trossard coming in and playing up front in midweek, scoring again. Are you surprised, or how pleased have you been with his performances since he joined the club in January?
Really happy. Obviously, it's been almost a year since he joined us, and we knew his quality and what he could bring to the team, and that's why we brought him, because he can fulfill different positions, but as well different needs with qualities that we didn't have in the squad when we want to do something different. And last night he showed again his quality.
And the last one on Kai Havertz. A lot of people talk about the price tag and his performances so far. Do you feel like there's unneeded or unwarranted pressure on him at the minute?
I don't know. I can tell you that I'm really pleased with the way he's performing. Obviously, looking at the numbers, just specifically the numbers of what he's producing in front of goal, those have to be improved, and we have to improve them. But in many other areas of the pitch, what he gives to the team at the moment, it's really important.
That's great. Best of luck this weekend. Thank you.
Go to Mark from the Press Association.
Hi Mikel, just one more on Aaron. If I know you haven't spoken to him yet, but if he came and knocked on your door and said, look, in January, and said, look, boss, I want to go because I want to go to the Euros, is that something you'd understand?
Well, first of all, my door is open to speak about any player. We just want the best for our players, and we try to do that. And we know the influence that we can have, sometimes positively, sometimes not so positively, towards them. We will always try to do our best to help them. But yeah, this is a team sport that needs 24 players that you have to fulfill a role. And the role that you have in August, it might be very different to the one you have in March. So making early decisions, in my experience, is not something good at all. And as well, because the team has certain needs that have to be accomplished. And in order to that, you cannot do it with 6, 10 or 14 players. It is impossible. So you need everyone, and Aaron has a really important role in the team.
When you look at Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson, two of the most successful managers in the history of the Premier League, they've had a lot of players that played under them that have gone into management. I think it's fair to say, isn't it, that Pep now, when you look at, you obviously work with Pep, we've got Vincent, Xavi's doing it as well. Do you think he could be the next that has that just influences this next pool of managers?
For sure. I think it will be many, many more to come. And he's been in different countries, and I think the saga is going to be even bigger because he has this quality, this capacity to inject you with this passion, and this another way to look after the game, and it's very contagious, very powerful.
Simon from Evening Standard.
Aaron's obviously going to attract interest from clubs now ahead of that January window. Just what's your sort of stance and message to clubs that would be interested in trying to buy?
I have no messages for any clubs. I can talk about my players, how much I like my players, how much I like Aaron, and that we want Aaron with us, that's for sure.
And in terms of Gabriel Jesus, who's been called up by Brazil, I mean, in theory, they can assess him themselves, they could fly him out to Brazil and take a look at him. Are you hoping that a decision will be made without that needing to take place, and that you can speak to him? Obviously, I know Ed, who knows the Brazil Federation well, it won't take him flying out there to be assessed.
Yeah, we always try to speak with the national teams and find the common sense. The only important thing here is the interest of the player, and after, when we have secured that, okay, what's the best interest from the national team and the club, and I would act the same exact way.
Clive from Football London.
I just wanted to ask one on Martin, if that's okay, Mikel. You said on Wednesday that he was racing against the clock. Has there been any positive developments, or has he been able to train since?
Sorry, I missed with who?
Martin.
With Martin.
Yeah.
Still racing. Still racing. He's trying everything that he can, and let's see, it's a possibility.
And just obviously, so many injuries at one time. Has it made you maybe think about the depth you have in the squad? So obviously, January coming up, not too far in the distant future. Do you think about that? Maybe you need more depth for the second half of the season to achieve everything you want to, or is it just bad luck this much happening at this one time?
Well, some of the injuries that we had, there are some bad luck. Some of them, they've been some long-term injuries with some special players, and when we didn't have a lot of depth. So when we can talk about the depth, but after you have to talk about the specific positions or certain units where we're a little bit shorter. But it's the challenge of the season, and other people has to step up, and that as well is a good test for the team. You know, how we take those moments and how we actually respond to that. And so far, the team is doing well.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.